Driving a train can be a peaceful yet dangerous job. It doesn't matter what type of motor power you're using, you have to pay attention to what's in front of you all the time. Because just one little mistake, like missing a signal, can cause serious damage. This is the story of the Charfield train disaster. On October 13th, 1928, in Charfield, Gloucestershire, England, the 10 p.m. Leeds to Bristol Mail Express was heading toward Charfield. Leading the train was Midland Railway Class 3 440, number 714, with driver E.H. Allington and fireman F.C. Wand in the cab. Allington had considerable experience. The engine was followed by a parcels van, two composite coaches, two third-class coaches, a traveling post office sorting van, a pair of normal post office vans, and finally a passenger brake van, with guard Miller riding along. 60 passengers were also on board the train. Meanwhile, the 9:15 p.m. Great Western Railway semi-fitted goods train was heading from Oxley to Bristol. The train consisted of GWR 4300 Class 260 steam engine number 6381, with driver Gilbert and fireman H. Sutton in the cab, pulling 49 loaded cars. And riding in the brake van was guard W. Fortin. Finally, a third train, the 4:45 a.m. empty goods train from Westerly, on its way to Gloucestershire. The train had an LMS Fowler Class 4F leading, number unknown, with 45 empty wagons. In the cab are driver G. Honeyfield and fireman A. Clark. There was also a brake van at the back of the train, with guard Calloway inside. While approaching Charfield at high speed, Allington told Wand to look for the distance signal, but it was hard for Wand to see because of the fog, meaning he wasn't sure the signal's location. The train was 60 yards away from the signal when Wand then told Allington that it was green and then said, "He's got it off, mate." But as Wand finished shoveling more coal, Allington saw the GWR goods engine suddenly emerging from the fog. He quickly applied the brakes, but it was far too late. The mail train slammed into the GWR goods train at 5:20 a.m. The LMS engine crashed into the right-hand side of the GWR tender and derailed to the right, plowing into two empty wagons of the up LMS train before it overturned onto its right side against the upslope near the bridge. The sudden deceleration caused the two vans, the front composite coach and first third-class coach, to violently telescope, while both 6381's tender and engine were pinned against the wall by the mail train's carriages. The westerly goods train was still passing under the bridge at the time of the collision. The locomotive and front six wagons were undamaged, but the seventh and eighth were derailed. Seconds after the collision, signalman H. Button informed the company control office at Fish Ponds of the accident and requested ambulances, maintenance staff, cranes, and other assistance to be sent from Bristol and Gloucestershire. Unfortunately, as in earlier railway crashes at Quinton's Hill, an intense fire started. It is believed that the gas cylinders of the first four cars were punctured, and a cloud of gas quickly formed under the bridge. 7 of the 11 cars of the mail train were completely destroyed by the fire. In the end, 16 people died. The majority of the 14 passenger car fatalities were due to the fire. An additional 41 were injured, including the crew members of all three trains. Among the dead were stated to be the remains of 2 small children who have never been identified. There is a memorial to remember those who lost their lives at St. James Church in Charfield, where the two unknown children are buried. So how in the world did this happen? The cause was determined to be the night mail train for failing to stop at the signals protecting the refuge sign at the station. The block telegraph instruments at Charfield had three different positions: train on line, line clear, and line blocked. Not only was it in control of the station and signings, the signal box was a block post for two sections: Berkeley Road to Charfield, the up line, and Charfield to Wickwer, the down line. The down line signals protected trains in both the down line of the station and Charfield to Wickwer section of the down line which followed. The block instrument could not be set to line clear until the train on the line had passed over a treadle at the next signal box, and the signalman in the box had sent his consent by telegraph. The box instruments were interlocked with the signal levers so that unless the respective instrument stood at line clear, they could not be cleared to accept the train. This prevented any false signals being given by mistake. The signals at Charfield should have been at danger, since the block system employed left no human for human error on the signalman's part. The outer home signal, which was at danger at Charfield, was fitted with a track circuit. The GWR goods train was nearly clear of the line, and the westerly up goods train was approaching from Wickwer, when Button happened to notice the indicator for this track circuit. The GWR goods train was nearly clear of the line, and the westerly empty up goods train was approaching from Wickwer, when Button happened to notice the indicator for this track circuit. It changed to occupied, but then Button saw to his alarm the indicator flew back to clear again. This could only mean one thing: the mail train had failed to stop at the signal. Arlington and Want of the mail train had assumed the line to be clear and had passed the home signal at around 60 miles an hour. There was no error in Button's part for doing this, but it meant that the mail was running into a bottleneck. The track was in a cutting with a road bridge spanning both main lines. The sidings cutting off at the road bridge. Both main lines were blocked. With that, Arlington and Want went on trial for manslaughter, and neither attempted to excuse themselves because of the poor weather or lack of fogmen, but rather put emphasis on the fact that the distant signal was clear. Arlington said when the mail train was approaching Charfield, he was standing behind Want, who was keeping his eyes out for the signals, which both saw as green. Because of this, Arlington assumed the station was clear of traffic and could proceed through to Wickwer. The only possibilities were that Arlington and Want did not see the signal, or that they saw the signal, which had been somehow set to green. It was undoubtedly clear that this disaster was caused due to Want and Arlington overrunning this signal, but were acquitted when LMS management shared some responsibility for not quickening the pace of the conversion of lighting in trains from gas to electrical lights. The effects of the collision would have been greatly reduced. It also recommended the installation of the GWR invention of automatic train control, sounding an alarm whistle in the cab and opening an air valve on the brake pipes, thus clearing the vacuum and applying the automatic vacuum brakes, which would have prevented disaster. In the end, the 440 number 714 was destroyed, while 6381 and the LMS 060 were repaired and put back into regular service. As for the station, it was closed in 1965, but recently there's been a plan by the West of England Combined Authority to reopen the station. 93 years have passed since the incident, but hopefully engineers and conductors all over the world continue to adhere to do their jobs safely.